AI won't replace your jobs, but people using AI will replace your jobs.
Especially when you're trying to understand how it impacts your business. I'm going to lose my job.
Think about what you're trying to solve in your business. What is the biggest pain point that you're facing in your business? And if you were to come to work next Monday and that pain was gone, how would that make you feel? We're physically making a digital twin of yourself. Terminator is not coming anytime soon.
I think the catalyst was Steve Jobs and the iPhone. Have we seen the catalyst for AI yet? Or are we still waiting for the Steve Jobs?
Welcome to the Mastering Podcast, where we decode the complex and unlock the secrets of success. Today, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence with our special guest, Lucas Meadowcroft.
Today we have Lucas Meadowcroft, a really good friend of mine, but more importantly, Lucas was the founder of Crofty, who's in the forefront of technological advancements, mainly in artificial intelligence, an acronym that's taken over the world last 12 or 24 months. Lucas is also an expert in all things technology. He's founded 4 companies. He's been the advisor for many other companies that's been trying to find efficiencies and ways to modernize technology. Lucas, hopefully you can help us unravel some of these mysteries around artificial intelligence and some of these acronyms that have come with artificial intelligence. And why is everyone so afraid of it, mate? Welcome.
Thanks very much for having me, man. I can't wait to dive into this conversation. We actually started building AI in 2018 or machine learning, back what we used to call it. And I say that from a general public point of view because no one really knows the difference. And we couldn't have a conversation with anyone. Like it's what has happened in this world from an AI perspective. It's leaps and bounds from 2018 to 2022. Essentially, it was silence. Anytime we try to talk to investors or try to talk to customers about AI, it's really, really difficult. ChatGPT launches in 2022. It took about 12 to 18 months for that to catch on from the general public. But this year, it's like the only conversation everyone's having is AI.
So what is AI? Everyone seems to sort of think they know what AI is, but no one seems to know what the hell you can do with AI. Like, what's AI? Give us a bit of a history, and then how did we get here?
Yeah, well, AI has actually been around since 1960s, which is around understanding how we can piece together what we already do in our human life, what we already do from a technology point of view, using systems, processes, piecing all that together and using a, let's call it machine network to solve those problems for us. We've already been doing, everyone's been using Excel for 20 or 30 years, however long Excel's been around for. There's already macros as a form of a simple form of artificial intelligence back in the basic version. So it's like taking an algorithm that already exists, or you create an algorithm and the machine does the work of what a human would do. And so if we were fast forward today, what I guess the buzzword is around AI, and this is where the confusion is, right? Because people just think AI is everything. We like to call it AI automation, artificial intelligence automation. Majority of implementing AI into your organization, like this is from a business process perspective, I would say 80% of what we do is automation, 20% is AI. The AI component is the decision-making component. So think about whenever we make a decision in our business or in our personal life, we're either using our gut or we're using our mind to make a decision. That decision-making component is where the artificial intelligence component really comes into play, and that's the true form of AI. If we're looking at implementing AI technology into our organization, we're looking at implementing automation and AI as a combination, because we're essentially replacing, we talk about roles like AI agents, but we're replacing functions and responsibilities and how we actually do our daily work. We're replacing all that. That's a combination of all different technologies, not just AI. But we try not to talk about that. It confuses everyone, and we just say AI, and that's all people think about.
That's a really good breakdown, right? Like I heard somewhere last week, I think, said large language models are going to be the fastest depreciating asset over the coming years, right? I think that's sort of what you're talking about.
Yep.
And how people can take those large language models and build wrappers around it, or the AI models and build wrappers around it. So the automation models. So is that what you're talking about? And first of all, what is a large language model? So what's machine learning? All of these acronyms, LLMs, it just confuses a lot of people, right? Especially when you're trying to understand how it impacts your business and how it impacts you as a person who's trying to run a business, start a business, or manage people. How does all of these things come together, and what do they mean?
There
Not a
is
question, sorry, but it's,
there is. This is what confuses a lot of people, right? So where my mind goes towards is, don't think about the technology, think about the outcome you're trying to achieve. And don't get held up and confused around the buzzwords and the conversations around large language models or machine learning or AI. Think about what you're trying to solve in your business. So a really good question I like to ask most business owners and leaders and employees is, what is the biggest pain point that you're facing in your business? What is the biggest pain point you're facing in your role? And if you were to come to work next Monday and that pain was gone, how would that make you feel?
Okay.
So then focus on that. Whatever that is, whether it's sales or marketing or operations or service delivery or finance, whatever role you're doing and whatever pain point you currently have that you want solved, we're then using the large language models, the machine learning, the AI, to build components as real-world applications to solve that pain point.
So it's no different to any other efficiencies and products, software as services we've implemented in businesses. This just is something that's quantifiably, growing so much faster and can do a lot of things.
We can do a lot of things a lot quicker.
Yeah.
We can solve problems a lot faster. The biggest scenario is we're physically making a digital twin of yourself. So say, Don, this is your current pain point in your business. You want to scale your company. You want to go nationally, internationally. What's your biggest pain point? People always say staff.
Yeah.
They always say hiring really good skilled staff. Or we have a lot of admin work in our organization that people have to do. So they might be amazing at sales. They might be amazing at delivering a product or a service. But there's always paperwork. There's always compliance. There's always checklists. No one wants to do that stuff. And so,
no, but someone gets paid to do it, right? This has been one of the biggest sort of, I don't know if it's a myth or a faux pas, but it's been because one of the biggest fears, which is displacement, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people are thinking, am I going to lose my job?
Yep.
What kind of new jobs are going to be created from this? But more than that, am I going to lose my job? Mm-hmm. Because people always worry about putting this.
It's a fear, right? So back to your original question, what the fear is the unknown.
Yeah.
And people automatically think that AI is going to replace my job because that's what the media tells you is going to happen. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
Humans still need to drive it. We talk about artificial general intelligence. Yes, it will be here 10 years, 20 years, whatever that time frame looks like. But if we're talking
so that's AGI, right?
AGI.
This scary little thing, the Terminator.
Terminator,
coming, right?
Yeah. Terminator is not coming anytime soon because of governance and regulation and a whole different conversation. If we look at
Ray Kurzweil might disagree with you on that.
yeah, no, right. He's written an amazing book on it. Society won't let it happen too soon. Terrorists obviously will, but general society won't. If you were to look at how can we make the most out of what's happening and the shift in the society from an AI point of view, and we want to make sure that our fear isn't around losing our job, embrace it. Dive into your role, into your career, and go, how can I help advance what I'm already doing and be a leader? And there was a really good meme that was out maybe 18 months ago, which was like literally stated around this whole fear conversation around AI, right? It's like AI won't replace your jobs, but people using AI will replace your jobs. And because it's a combination of human and the technology that we have now, which will enhance what you're already doing in your career or in your role. And that's the key point.
Yeah.
All these admin jobs or people who are currently doing admin work, they will 100% lose their job. Admin is 100% not needed in a business, and we've already done it for companies. Yeah. We've eliminated every admin role you can think of in a business.
Yeah.
If you want to have a career in admin, don't.
I don't think anyone wants to have a career in admin. They just start there or they just fall there. So I think it's going to create some. If you look at humanity as a society and that perfect life we want to live, all those rudimental sort of jobs that we never wanted to do, hopefully AI is going to take them over, and then we're going to do the important stuff. Is that what you're saying?
100%. It's the only conversation I have with every single person when we're talking about AI is focus on what you love doing and replace everything else. So I usually say when you come into work on a Monday morning, what is the number one thing that you come to work for? Why do you love a job? What are you passionate about? What type of work do you love doing? That's all you should be doing.
Yeah.
Everything else should be removed.
So you're saying AI is going to let you do that?
Yes.
It's going to facilitate a better life for the human.
If you embrace it and don't push back.
So in terms of embracing, right, like how does a leader or just a normal person, how do they embrace it? What do they have to do to understand this thing? Where do they start? Because, using ChatGPT to write your emails is a very different thing to adopting AI to help with exactly what you're talking about, or, building a business with the AI automations being the backbone of it and scaling it to $1 million business with 30 people, right? And that's what, this are not hypotheticals, it's happening right now. What does a leader have to learn, understand to do that?
We now have studies where you can scale a business, let's call it $1 million as a starting point. Everyone wants to get that first $1 million before 10 million. You can now get to a $1 million business with 4 staff. So wow. we it used to be 15, 20 staff, right, to try and get to $1 million. Now you can do it in 4 staff. To your point around what does a leader need to do, they need to have a mindset shift around embracing AI. And what we talk about in the business landscape is being an AI first company. And so either having an AI first mindset, being an AI first business. What a leader needs to do is start listening to podcasts, diving in, doing research, putting some time and effort into this, ignoring the media, just completely wipe the media out of your mind because you'll just get the doom and gloom and everything that it's actually not true. But if you start diving into what AI can do in my industry and start learning real world case studies of what other organizations are doing around the world, but that's why we can start a consulting company, right? It's because people don't have the time for that. They don't want to put the effort in. So they just hire us to do it for them and we come up with the ideas for them. But if you want to be a AI first company or have an AI first mindset, then just start researching and looking at ways on how we can embed AI into our organization. Doesn't mean you know how to do it. You don't have to become a programmer. You don't have to learn Python, but you can start understanding on where it adds value in my business.
Interesting. So as you know, I'm part of an educational faculty and one of the biggest things that we try to find is when you're trying to build new educational programs or what's relevant, you got to always look at what impacts the most. When it comes to artificial intelligence, the capacity to being able to measure the return on investment or ROI, the models that you work with and how you wrap those models around the large language models or any artificial intelligence that you want to work with, and then the ethical and the governance implications that it's going to have to your customers and to your business. They seem to be the most important things, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it because, for a business owner or a leader, right, if you have those 4 pillars understood well, does that give you a foundation then to sort of dive into this confusing field of AI and be ready for the workplace of tomorrow?
Well, we talk about our ethics, right? And so this is a big push from the UK or the EU. It hasn't come to Australia yet. So when I talk to business owners around implementing or embracing AI in their organisation, I talk about the SME to mid-market, enterprise and government organisations not quite there yet, but the SME to mid-market is embracing it. And I asked a question around governance, control, data controls, privacy, ethics. No one cares. I'll just be completely direct and blank. They're going
to have to start caring soon, right? It's inevitable.
This is because there's no governance in place from the government that stipulates you must do this, this, and this to follow the guidelines. Right now, we don't have that. It's right now, it's a wild, wild west. We can do whatever we want, right? Morally, we should have that in place, especially around the ethics and control, especially around data privacy and sovereignty. But there's no regulation there yet. It will come like ISO. There's now an ISO certification for AI and implementing the right framework that's driven from the EU and the US, but Australia just isn't there.
So it's even more important understanding the ethical implications and the governance that needs to be, because once it gets there, it's going to be too late if you're not ready for it, But tell me about, like, I threw the word wrapper at you before, right? Like, it's return on investment and how to wrap, right? That's nothing to do with Kendrick Lamar or music. What does that mean?
Different type of wrapper. This is a very interesting shift. Right? So when we were in the tech startup game back in 2018, raising capital from VCs, it was all about being a SaaS platform and building an AI SaaS platform, and that's where we were able to raise capital from. It's now shifted to being a tech wrap business, i.e. be a traditional business, but make sure AI is implemented throughout the entire foundation. And I was talking to VCs and investment portfolios recently, and they're no longer investing in AI companies. So investing in an AI company now isn't even a conversation. They're investing in traditional businesses using AI to solve a problem. And so it used to be you're building an AI company. Now you're building a platform or an AI agent to solving a real world problem. And so it's more conversation about what problem are you solving. And they just assume and expect, they being VCs and investors, they assume and expect it to be AI driven company. So everything they're building, the entire tech stack, all the operations, everything has to have AI in there. Yeah. And they're just expecting that if you're not doing that, you're completely left behind. We're not going to invest in you. But they're not going out and saying you must be an AI not an AI first company, but you're being a AI company. That's no longer a conversation.
Okay.
Which is super interesting, right? And we're talking 2 years.
Yeah.
Like it's a very short period of time. This is completely changed the landscape.
Wow. Okay.
So tech wrap. Sorry to answer your question. A tech wrap business is a traditional, what I call a traditional company, SaaS platform versus traditional business. So financial services, education in your space, construction, manufacturing, like traditional business, and using artificial intelligence to, I don't know who came up with a tech wrap, but essentially putting an AI layer, whether above or below the business, and making sure it's implemented in every aspect of the company, because that means your valuation will be 10 times, 20 times, not 3 times.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Well, I've got one more final question before we finish up, right? Where is AI at? Like, the reason why I asked is there's been when it comes to technology, there's been quantum shifts, right? Mobile phones for me is one of those ones. Mm-hmm. When I was too young to really recall that first instance when mobile phones became what ChatGPT became for us in the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. But I think the catalyst was Steve Jobs and the iPhone, right? Have we seen the catalyst for AI yet? Is ChatGPT it? Or are we still waiting for the Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
Honestly, the iPhone?
Honestly, we're still waiting for the Steve Jobs. God rest his soul. It's
oh wow, that's
so ChatGPT.
Yeah,
it's been amazing from a conversation in the general public. So before they released ChatGPT, like I mentioned, you could not talk to anyone about AI, right? It just wasn't a thing. So it's great to have a general public awareness of the potential of what AI can be. The conversations in the AI space is like, here's all the technology. You as the consumer, as the business owner, as the innovator, can you use the technology to solve problems, real world problems? That's what we're waiting for. It's already started, like it's already happening. There's 20,000 AI apps out there now. When I say AI apps, essentially applications that are using that technology to solve a problem. I don't think we're there yet, honestly. I don't think we'll be there for maybe another 2-3 years.
We got platforms that can write off billions of dollars worth of market value. We got platforms that can create trillions of dollars worth of market value, and we still haven't even seen the catalyst.
Yeah,
wow.
We're still early days. Like, look, if you look at the medical space,
it's
right?
Scary.
It is really. I pessimist, optimist. I see it scary in a good way, right? If you look at the research around the medical space and diseases, cancers, spinal research, like we're talking like what would take us 50 years to figure out is now 10 years.
Yeah.
In the next 2 to 3 years, that will be like 2 years, and we'll be solving real world problems from a medical point of view. That's just absolutely insanely amazing.
I think the forecast is about $15 trillion worth of value added to the market in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that, right? Like that's a big number. Yeah. So, mate.
Huge opportunity. And so if you talk about the fear conversation, I'll leave you with this.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. So don't fear what's happening. Embrace it. Where can it add value into your life?
So it's very important for business leaders to actually embrace this, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Lucas, appreciate your time. Thanks again for demystifying this confusing field of technology. And yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yes, man.
Hope you enjoyed this exciting episode of the Mastering Podcast. If you got value from today's conversation, hit that subscribe button now and share this episode with a friend. Until next time.